Hey, it's Dan here from the Outdoor Ed School, and in this video, I'm going to condense all the information you're going to need to know about the plan, do, review, and implement learning cycle. So it's a really powerful tool which you'll be able to provide directly to your students. And the reason why it's so powerful is it reframes failure as a learning process. And that's a really important mindset to have when you're working your way through things like team challenges, problem solving tasks, and even more importantly, personal and professional obstacles which come up in future life. So plan, do, review, and implement has been around for many, many years. It's had many different names and it comes in many different forms, but it basically boils down to 4 elements. The first bit is plan. So before you provide any task or challenge to your students, you are going to allocate 3-4 minutes for them to come up with a plan. It doesn't need to be a really long period of time. It just needs to be a little dedicated section of time for them to get together with their teammates and discuss a plan of attack. The second part is do. So then they get to take part in the activity. Ideally, you have chosen an activity which has a progressive nature to it. So there's loads of great activities like the flash challenge or stretch or blindfold and blackout. All of those are really great activities which have a progressive nature and it will work really well with this learning cycle. So they've planned it, they then get to do the activity. Hopefully they've been successful on their first attempt or the first level of the challenge, because that gives them the kind of motivation and the excitement to carry on with the challenge. And then it moves us on to the third section of this learning cycle. And so that's the reviewing section. So whether they were successful or whether they didn't quite manage to achieve the objective, it doesn't really matter, because you're then going to give them a certain amount of time for them to review what they did well and what they could improve on if they were going to take part in the activity again. So that's why I mentioned earlier that it's really good if you choose an activity which has a progressive nature, because even if they did something really well, like they completed the objective, then there is a progressive level, so they can then have the review section. What went well? Okay, there's a new rule, new piece of equipment that we now need to overcome. So we can review what we did last time, take the things that worked, change the bits that didn't, and now we can take on the next level of the challenge. So that would be the review phase, is coming up with their secondary plan. And the last part of this model is the implementation phase. So this is where they get to do the challenge again and they get to implement the reviews or the changes to their plan that they made in the reviewing phase. So 4 sections of the review model, really simple to remember, really simple to implement. The best way that I have been able to provide this challenge to, or this learning cycle to a group, is presenting the full learning cycle to a group before the challenge. So you can get them to list off the plan, do, review, and implement. You can then introduce the objective of the task that you have chosen to deliver to your students. You can give them the planning phase. You can even give them a whiteboard so they can write down their planning phase or their planning points on the whiteboard and then progress through the learning cycle. It's really effective, really simple. If you are looking for a team challenge that pairs well to this, if you head over to the Hub, which is our online library filled with team challenges, problem solving tasks, learning models, review models, and so much more, you'll be able to find a list of team challenges. And I would recommend using this learning cycle with a team challenge to start off with, because then you've got a collaborative effort. You're getting the support and the help of your peers or their peers to help guide them through this learning cycle. In fact, actually, I'm going to send you another email because there is an activity which pairs perfectly with this team challenge, which is stretch. So if you give me half an hour, I'm going to pop that into an email and send it over to you. So then you've got this learning cycle and you've got the stretch challenge all wrapped up in your inbox and you're ready to deliver it straight to your students. Give me a second and I'll do that now. See you soon.